welcome to Mindful Reality, the channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective. Now, honestly and truly, this is not necessarily a live that I consider worth making a live about, but the only reason that I'm making a clarifying live about this topic is because YouTube, especially YouTube nowadays, very temperamental. So YouTube doesn't use context. YouTube does not use nuance. YouTube is very black and white when it comes to what they decide is acceptable, not acceptable, what is allowed and what is not allowed. So I know some of you might be thinking, Mark, you're making a really big deal about this. No, I'm making a really big deal about this not because it's that big a deal, but because the YouTube rules are a big deal and things that people say on your YouTube about what you said can become a big deal based on what they said. And I know that's probably not going to make any sense to anyone, but I'm going to explain. So, I'll be honest with y'all. Before I even made this live, I decided to go back and watch back what I said. I'm not on StreamYard, unfortunately. I am on StreamYard, but I didn't decide to go live on StreamYard to be able to show you. But if you want to go look at what I'm talking about, go to my live that I think I titled Happy Monday and watch from about the 17-minute mark. Because it was like about the 17-minute mark. So I'm driving along like I always do after work. I had just finished work. I throw on my live because that's kind of going to work and coming from work are basically hi Liposin. Hi Jennifer. Going to work and coming to work are basically the top two times that I've been going live, especially during the Big Brother off season, because it's just the easiest time. When I hop in the car, I can just throw on my live. It keeps my channel active. So I'm just freestyling like I usually do, talking about my day, blah, blah, blah. I respond to comments. So I'm not answering any of these comments, by the way, unless I know these are from people that have been on my channel before. I'm not answering any of these comments until I get through what I'm saying. So I'm on my live, and then somebody gets on my live. There's a couple of troll comments. I delete those couple of troll comments. And then somebody posts a comment with a lot of colors in it. It says Trump and like a lot of red colors, and the topic was not about that. It was not a political topic because you guys know, I mean, for the most part, anyone who's been on my channel knows that I am not like a channel that covers politics. I cover reality TV and I talk about my life, and those kind of other topics I talk about offline. Some people use their channels towards that. Good for them. I do not. I choose to talk about those things for the most part offline. So this particular person had never been on my channel before, throws that in the comment section. First comment. Never had commented anything before. So I blocked that person because I'm like, if I'm on here for 10, 15 minutes talking about a bunch of other things, and then you just throw something that is no kind of way related to any of my topics, and it's your first comment, I don't even want to entertain a second comment. Now, there was a channel subscriber which I wish was on here, but I guess they're not on here right now. But there's a channel subscriber that is kind of a regular and was asking me about Canada, because if you have, if you know anything about me, you know that I was born and raised in Canada and moved here over to the United States when I was an adult. So they were just like, what is the political climate like in Canada? Because they said that they've heard that people are not really allowed to entertain those topics or whatever. I don't remember exactly what they said, but that they were just asking me questions about the political climate in Canada, which you can go back and see in that video for yourself. And I said I was not voting age when I lived there. And I said my first ever vote in any election was in the United States when it was Mitt Romney versus Obama. That was the first ever election that I was able to vote for. And then this person in my comments, hold on a minute, because I already said I wasn't doing this. All right, so this person in my comments was like, I would like to move to Canada, but I can't because I got a DUI, so I'm not allowed to go to Canada. And they were like, but I can't remember exactly how they said it, but they said something to the effect of like they're thinking of I forgot where they said. Some Canadian border that they said that they were gonna go through, and they're gonna go through with some Budweisers. Whoops. They said they were going to go through the Canadian border with some Budweisers, which was obviously a joke because they had just said, I can't go to Canada because I got a DUI. Then they said they're going to go by water, like swim over the border with some Budweisers, which was obviously a joke. I'm only explaining this. I'm not explaining this because it really needs to be explained, but I'm just explaining this to people who were not there. So, see something. Sorry about that. That was an accident. Yeah, so after they made that comment, I was like, you know what? You should go to Niagara Falls and then just dive into the falls and go across through the falls, and get through that way. But when you get across, don't tell them that you got the idea from my page, which was also a joke. And then I was like, if you tell them that you got that idea from my page, I'll just delete the live. Ha 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 ha. Now, if you thought the joke wasn't funny, that's fine. But the issue that I have is not that you didn't find the joke funny. It's that if you watch somebody's live, but you don't watch it when it's live, which is what happened. I had a live, and the comments were all coming in on my live, and I was responding to the live comments. So me and this person were having a back and forth joke on my live. They thought it was fun. Like, it wasn't even taken. Anyone who was on there did not even take it into context of this. I'm trying to be careful with my words here. It took a certain type of person to take the comments the way that they took the comments. And then they put a comment on under my video that said something like, I can't believe a mental health counselor would tell somebody to jump into the Niagara Falls, and then they're gonna delete the live. I'm like, you took this in the most literal and idiotic way as one could possibly take it, and you didn't ask one single question. Now, before I continue, I know some people have heard me mention a Holly many times and say that Holly was the first person I remember commenting on my channel, that Holly was a big part of the reason why my channel grew to what it was. I give credit to a Holly. This is not that Holly. There's a Holly M. There's a Holly with a last initial M. That is the Holly that I always talk about. There's another Holly, Holly F, the one that made this comment, who unfortunately, I guess, was also a part of the early days, but is not the one that I usually reference. This is a whole different Holly. That I don't ever believe would make that type of comment on my channel. So this Holly F, not one of my channel originators and not one of my original mods, jumped on, watched the replay of my channel, and thought that my response to that person was telling them to jump into Niagara Falls so that they wouldn't live. That was essentially what this person thought I was saying in my channel. So I made a very clarifying comment that I put on my community post. And then she said that she watched it back, and she basically admitted that she was wrong. Not in a way that said, I'm admitting that I'm wrong, but in a way that said, oh, like, I see what you're saying, but it still sounded mean. I know when I'm trying to be mean. And I know when I'm not trying to be mean. And in this instance, I was not trying to be mean. The trolls that I had blocked before that comment, I don't even think I was trying to be mean. I was just letting them know that they were blocked. It was just regular degular. If you follow my channel, that's what I do. If you troll me on my channel, I block you. But this particular person that she said I was being mean to, they made a joke. I made a joke. I laughed. They continued speaking to me in the comments because they knew it was a joke. I don't know. Like, maybe sometimes people just wake up on the wrong side of the bed when they jump on my lives, and they're just like, y'all, should I know? I don't even know what the hell that means, but I'm not in the mood. All right. Some people might just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. They might have had a bad day or something. They jump on my channel, and then they watch one of my videos, and they don't care about context. They don't care about... They just hear what they want to hear, and they need someone to take it out on. But I'll tell you something. Troll comments are one thing. If you just jump on and you're like, you suck. You look like Kanye West. Somebody told me earlier before I blocked them on that same live, what did they say? You look like Kanye Harden. I think they said that, like a combination of Kanye West and James Harden. I kind of chuckled at that a little bit before I blocked them. I don't care about that stuff. That stuff does not keep me up at night. You know, I get a few of those comments every single day. Whatever. I'll see it, I'll block you, I'll move on. But it's weird for me to get that kind of comment from somebody who's been following me for 3 years, knows my personality, at least, watched enough videos, is what I'm trying to say, to know what my personality is like, knows how passionate I am about mental health, obviously. And to think that I would just be like, I want you to just jump in the river and die. I'm like, what are you on? What what did you take before you got on my channel? Cuz it must have been something real good to think that my mind was even going there. And I honestly even watched back the video cuz there was a time when somebody said to me, "Oh, you said this thing and it came across as condescending," right? So I went back and looked at the thing they were talking about, and I'm like, fair enough. This is not how I meant it, but I could see how what you're saying could come across that way. I see how the thing that you're saying could have came across that way. You know what I'm saying? But in this particular instance, I actually watched it back and I was like, did I say this thing in some kind of way that is just totally different than what I meant and I just didn't see it? I have to view it back and make sure. I watched it back. I didn't get that impression at all. And then that person says in the comments, you don't have to get rid of me because I will happily unsubscribe myself from your channel. Oh, that's fine. You can unsubscribe yourself from my channel, but I already removed you. So I guess I gave you some satisfaction to feel like you had the power. But you should have thought a little bit more carefully before you decided to do that. And this message is for anyone else who feels that way. This, you might think that I'm just gonna say I'm gonna block all of you if you feel any type of way about anything I say. No, that's not what I'm here to say. A lot of you have my Facebook information, my Instagram page, my email address. There's many ways to get in contact with me. And anybody who has ever felt a way about anything I've ever posted on this page can tell you that if they have reached out to me and said, I feel some type of way about what you posted on your page or something that you said on your live, we've had a discussion about it. I don't just block people. We had a discussion about it. And that's what will happen if anyone feels that way in the future. But coming from my page and coming from my brand and coming from my character publicly in my comment section, I take very personally, and I block first and I ask questions later. In this particular case though, I asked a question because I did not block that person. It was like a couple of hours later because I was waiting. I was like, you know what? Perhaps after I explain myself, they'll give me an apology and we'll have a discussion about it and I can move forward from there. I would have deleted my comment and we could have moved on from there. But when the person decided to double down, I was like, nope, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. Because certain things that you say can actually get a channel taken down. And while this channel is not something that like funds my life, um, it's something that means something to me. And for someone to try to twist words, because sometimes people don't even watch the video. Sometimes people just, oh, let me watch a minute or two, and then just jump into the comment section, and then they see that comment in the comment section. I was upset that people even liked that comment. I wish that I knew the 2 or 3 people who liked that comment so I could get rid of them too. Because I'm like, when have you known me to say those types of things? I don't say those types of things on my channel. I don't say those types of things in personal conversations. I don't say them at my job. I don't say them, period. And there's people who go around online saying those things on a regular. I am not that person. I have had, oh, three people in my personal life that have made attempts at their life, and one of them succeeded, 2 of them didn't, but it doesn't matter. Each one of them were excruciatingly difficult. I performed at a funeral of a 17-year-old kid. I performed my ukulele and sang at a funeral of a 17-year-old kid. Took his life. Jumped out of a window and took his life. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life was to perform at that funeral, because it was just unnatural. I tell people all the time, you can talk to me all day. If you ever felt like you wanted to end your life, you could talk to me all day. This is not funny. All right. I don't even care if that was a troll or not, because this is not a funny topic. Okay, so bottom line, don't play about that ever on my channel, ever. Because you will be blocked immediately, and I'll embarrass you. I'll make a whole live about you. Because that's not something that I play about. That's not something that I think is a joke. You can call me James Harden. You could say, why are you so dark? You could say, oh, you could be like, oh, you look like P. Diddy. This and this and this. All these other stupid things that people put in their troll comments. That one thing, no. And that particular person, Holly F., I don't like you. I don't appreciate what you said in the comment section. It's 2,000% false. And I'm glad that this weeded you out, because I don't need followers like you on my channel ever again in life. And that's all I got to say about that. Aside from that, business will continue as usual. I'm going to keep being who I am. Nothing changes on my end, but listen, when people come for me in that way, especially in that specific way, um, I'm not gonna let you get away with that. There's no way. There's no way. You deserve. Honestly, there's no way to give you like an equal repercussion of what you're trying to do to me, because as far as I know, you don't have a channel. You don't have a brand. So I can't damage your brand, but I can make sure that you are not welcome back here. And I will do so. I will do so. That I can guarantee. And that's it. Dummy. All right, y'all. So, anyways, please make sure like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Back to our regularly scheduled programming tomorrow.